We back with full auto replacer king and a new lobby. Check it out. Now this is a rather simple fight this time, so we don't have to be too stressed out on getting our rewards this week. Of course, I have two teams for you guys, my budget and my invested team. My budget team will consist of farmable units and units available to new players through the selectors. So let's go ahead and check them out. So we're going to go ahead and start off with deploying a Hilde and Linjian, so we get our tank and our DP battery out as soon as possible. Now, Gayun is up, so on 0%, she can tank the ads for a little bit. Then we have Chinatsu coming in to sit there and heal and take over for tanking. Now, we need to get Jushiun out here to deal with this special that's going to be coming out. Now we can use a shielder instead, but Jushiun is just better for the timing, to be honest. Now of course we get Mia out for our damage dealer. She's going to be the queen of this fight here, because as soon as she gets a chance to ulti, this boss is just going to get smacked. Now unfortunately her ulti takes forever to come out, but once it does, the fight's pretty much over. That's more than enough points for minimum score. So for this team, we're going to be using the Tempest ship. Pretty much almost any ship could probably work well for it. Obviously, we're going to be using Kim Hana since we have the materials to make the proc. Now for gear, as you'll notice, Hilde doesn't actually need anything on 0%. Those CDR or HP work just as well. Linjian, we're going to sit here and put a CDR set, one of the free CDRs, the one that actually gives ground res. So we want to actually utilize her being tanky to live long. Gayun is just a broken set. She's upped, so she's actually really good here. We're going to be using Chinatsu because she's probably one of the best healers. So we're going to go ahead and just utilize that, and we'll put the antagonist set on her since she has actual tank stats. Sky we just have on whatever gear. She's just kind of there to reduce the boss's evasion, but Spirit works really well here. Jushiun can just be on whatever gear you want to put him on. Shadowhawk gear works just as fine. Now Mia, we want to try and put our best gear, and I say that and you look at this, it's like, how is that your best gear? But whatever your best gear you can afford, because if you notice in that fight, she absolutely demolished that boss's HP bar. So we want to sit there and put as much ground damage on her, as much anti-counter stats, anti-tower stats, whatever you can put on her, that's what you want to have on her to do this. Now you can use the regular Mia as well. It doesn't have to be the rearmed one, but we're just going to go with that. And then, Seiyun doesn't really need gear, but hey, you can throw whatever you want on her as well. For the ship latents, we just have a couple of counter latents here, which kind of help out some, a decent sniper line. So that really helps Mia. Mods used for this run, I'm running plus 50% enemy attack, minus 20% HP, minus 25% attack, minus 40% A speed, minus 40% skill haste, and then the deployment resource gain minus 30%. Now that we have the mods turned on, this fight's a little bit different. So we're going to go ahead and start off with getting Karen and Linjian out here. Linjian's tanky enough that in this tank ad actually doesn't really do much, so she can actually go first and tank that ad for a little bit. That gives Karen enough time to put her wall down, which actually does a significant amount of damage, and Seal to come in and special and kill a bunch of those ads. Now Karen's laser beam's actually going to do some significant damage to those backline ads, so it's really helpful in this case. Now this is where it gets a little bit dicey. So Ella needs to be in front of Mia, and sometimes Mia decides she's going to walk a little bit farther in front, and Ella's not able to get up there in time. So if that happens, you do need to restart the run. But the rest of the fight goes pretty much the same. Karin will ulti along with Nicole, taking out that one ad. Seal will get up close to the boss, and we eliminate a lot of the ads. Mia sits there and does her ulti, and then Seal does hers. And at the same time, the S1 comes from the ship, reducing the boss's defense to 0. And then everything else just falls in line, and the boss dies. Now, if Mia triple not crits, that might be a little bit of an issue. So it may be a bit RNG to sit there at that point, actually. But as you can see, Mia is taking the first rank, taking all the damage. I'm using quad for the ship since the S1 lines up with Mia's ult and Seal's ult rather well for this run. Vivian is the operator. Now for gear, I'm using A-Speed Swift for Karin, but ranged attack speed actually does more damage. I actually had to use this gear in order to slow down me killing the first ad. Linjian, I'm going on full Swift CDR with as much tank stats as possible. Seal I have on HP. We want her tanking. We don't need her ulting too soon on auto since we can't control it, so we want to sit there and slow that down as much as possible. For Mia, now attack, anti-counter subs will work on this boss. This boss is a counter, so you can actually get away with using Volcano, but you can also use anti-tower. For Ella, Ella's gear really doesn't matter. I just threw CDR on her, but range damage, attack, A speed, it really doesn't matter. She has one job, which is to use a counter, and hopefully you kill the boss before she ever before she ever has to use her counter again. Now Nicole, you could put her on pretty much anything, but her best gear is going to be special damage amp. You want her blowing up that boss or the ad as soon as possible. Now, the ads are soldiers, so you can get away with using anti-soldiers. She only has one job, so her damage isn't really that great on the boss. And then for Dorothy, her damage really doesn't matter, but I went ahead and put her on full A-Speed Relic anyways. And not that Artie really matters here. You can sit there and replace this with pretty much any unit, because you're really only using the first 7 anyways. But she'd be the only one that you could actually turn an auto off for a moment and forward deploy onto your units to give damage. And then these are my ship's latents. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you get the minimum score needed this season. Just in case it needs to be said, you may need to adjust the mods to fit your team and or gear. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mage Army by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link will be in the description, and if you want to help support this channel, you can find a link in the description for that as well. As always, I will see you all next time.